The film begins with a running sequence at night. A young adult woman is seen escaping someone by sprinting barefoot on the snow. She falls down after running for a while and then gets up to continue her escape. The scene shifts to daytime where Corey Lambert, a professional hunter, shoots down a wild fox. Corey finishes the job and arrives at her former wife's place to take his son to his grandparents' house over the weekend. He has a short conversation with his former wife and then leaves for his destination. After reaching the place, Corey greets his father-in-law, who informs him about a wild lion who is preying on the local animals. Corey leaves in search of the lion and recovers a frozen body instead. It is revealed that the frozen body is of the same woman who was running in the starting sequence. Corey recognizes the person to be Natalie, the daughter of his friend. He immediately informs the town cop about the body, who in turn calls for an FBI investigation. During a harsh snowstorm, a female FBI officer, Jane, arrives at the scene and meets Corey and the town cop. Jane informs Corey that she doesn't have the proper gear for riding in the snow and later takes the help of his mother-in-law to get the gloves and the jacket. She then accompanies Corey and the team to the spot and finds the body. She learns that before Natalie was frozen to death, she was assaulted multiple times. Jane lists the incident as a homicide and gets on with the investigation. Jane also takes the help of Corey to track the person responsible for the crime. During the night, when Corey's son enters his room, it is revealed that Corey also had a daughter who died in a similar fashion. Meanwhile, during the autopsy report, the doctor refuses to list the case as a murder and cites another reason for the death. This infuriates Jane, who leaves the autopsy room with no hopes for an FBI backup. Jane decides to continue her solo investigation with the help of the cop and interrogates Jane's parents. She learns that both of them are grieving and won't be able to provide her with the clues. However, Corey also pays a visit to the parents and consoles them for the incident. He inquires about the boyfriend whom Natalie was dating right before the incident, and also about his other son who is involved in some wrongdoings. Natalie's father ends the conversation by asking Corey to bring the culprit to absolute justice. Jane, Corey, and the cop pay a visit to the notorious local gang where the other son is involved. When a seemingly high person opens the door, Jane asks him to keep his hands out of his pockets. But the guy reaches out for pepper spray and uses it on the cop and Jane. When his other counterparts try to make an escape through the back gate, Corey beats them with a shovel and pins them down. Jane, who is semi-blinded by the pepper spray, confronts the same guy and shoots him down. Later on, one of the boys whom Corey had pinned down is revealed to be the other son. The team interrogates him about the whole situation, but he appears to be unaware of the events. When Corey takes the permission of the cop to interrogate him personally, he finds out the name of Natalie's boyfriend. However, he doesn't share the information with Jane but soon tells him about the name along with what happened to her daughter as well. Jane gets emotional after knowing about Corey's daughter and learns why he is so invested with the case. The team meets up in the morning and decides to raid the trailer where Natalie's boyfriend used to live. They are also accompanied by two local cops for assistance. Meanwhile, Corey decides to hunt the lion and get his personal job done finally. When Jane arrives at the location, she is received by the colleagues of Natalie's boyfriend, who are totally unaware of Natalie and the whereabouts of his boyfriend. They inform the team that they all worked at the same place and that they also stay in the same trailer. Things become suspicious when one of the colleagues mentions the name Natalie, without being told by anyone. Jane confronts him immediately and the situation turns into a gun standoff. Everyone takes out their guns and points them at the other guys. Meanwhile, Corey finds the hiding place of the lion and decides to go for the kill. But before that, he notices a snow vehicle footprint and decides to follow them. He finds out that the entire team is in trouble and might need his assistance. While Jane diffuses the standoff and asks everyone to keep their guns inside the holster. She then follows the colleague who informs her that Natalie's boyfriend is sleeping inside the trailer. The scene immediately shifts into a flashback when Jane knocks on the door. In the flashback, Natalie is seen paying a visit to his boyfriend who is alone inside the trailer. They both perform the act of love and are happy to see each other. Unexpectedly, all the colleagues return drunk from the town and start misbehaving with Natalie. Her boyfriend starts to get violent with his colleague and a fight breaks out. During the fight, Natalie is knocked unconscious along with her boyfriend. One of the colleagues starts taking advantage of her but is soon knocked down by the boyfriend. Ultimately, Natalie escapes the trailer and her boyfriend is beaten to death. The scene shifts to the present where the town cop warns Jane to get away from the door. But Jane is immediately blown off by a gunshot. A bigger fight breaks out between the authorities and the colleagues. In the end, all the colleagues finish off the cops and move on to Jane. It is revealed that Jane is still alive due to her bulletproof vest. Before the trigger is pulled on her, Corey shoots down the bad guys with a long-distance rifle. He then takes out all of them one by one and saves Jane. One of the bad guys makes a run for it and gets shot in the leg by Jane. However, he escapes and runs inside the woods. Corey reaches out to Jane and helps her with the wounds. He learns that she needs immediate help and calls for it. Jane knows that Corey will find the last bad guy and bring him to justice. She repeats the same to Corey and wishes him luck. In the woods, the bad guy is seen running relentlessly for his life. He is soon encountered by Corey who knocks him down with his gun. The guy wakes up on a snowy cliff and finds Corey by his side. Later, Corey draws in the confession from the guy and leaves him to run on his own. Ultimately, the guy falls flat and succumbs to the minus temperature. The scene shifts to a hospital where Corey is seen taking care of Jane. He informs her that she will be fine and lightens the mood by presenting her with a gift. Jane then gets emotional about Natalie and Corey comforts her. Corey then makes a return to Natalie's home. He finds no one inside the room and then takes the staircase. That is where he sees Natalie's mother sleeping in her bedroom. He also notices Natalie's photos with her daughter and gets emotional. Corey finds Natalie's father sitting outside the house and reaches there to speak with him. He finds him in a sad state with a blue color applied on his face. Corey asks him about the situation, and Natalie's dad informs him about his decision to quit. He reveals that a phone call from his son saved his life and that he might not make this decision again. Corey tries to comfort him and explains that his son needs him. When Natalie's dad informs him that all but one culprit is brought to justice by the cops, Corey interrupts him and repeats that everyone is brought to justice. Natalie's dad learns that Corey has kept his promise. That is all for today. Subscribe and like it, if you want more videos like this.